Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you all are doing fine. I am Priyabrat and I am welcome you all to the second part of this video on awk. In the last session we talked about awk and in details the beginning, and in this video we will cover some advanced concepts like different numeric functions that you can use in awk, then also string functions and how to use if else conditional statement as well in awk. Then we talk about array, it's a very important concept. Then also we will execute, like how to execute system command, I will show you that. But before going into deep these concepts, let me revise it. So if you have already watched that video, then you can skip it. So let me quickly show you what we have seen on awk. So basically how awk works, like it will take the input and it split into in different records based on the record separator, and then split each records into fields using the field separator variable, and then apply the rules. Rules consist of different tests, and based on the tests whichever is passed, those it will corresponding actions will be applied. So we saw that, let's say this example record, the first, second, third, like that, and the record will be split into different fields. The first field will be stored in a system variable called $1, $2, the second field $3 will store the third field, like that, whereas $0 will store the entire record. Then the syntax is like you write awk, then give single quote, and then apply. Then the rule consists of a test and followed by an action block. Action block, we saw that it should be within the curly bracket. Okay. Then we saw some examples like printing $1 will print the first column, fifth column, like that, and we can use double quote to denote any string. Then we saw some examples like how to use different test conditions, then based on the action block, and how to use regex for test conditions. Then we talked about the concept of nr and nf, whereas nr equal to the current record number and nf is number of fields, and using this we saw like how to slice some data from a file. Then we explored the concept of begin and end block, and using that we saw an example of how to add a header in the dataset if it is not present. Then we talked about the concept of variable in awk, and we saw that directly we can use the variable, no need to define it earlier, and also we do not need to give dollar kind of thing, directly we'll use the variable name as it is. Okay. And using that we did an examples like how to calculate the average of the second column or any numeric column. uh, then we explored the two important output variable, two variable like ORS and OFS, output record separator and output field separator, using which we converted TSV to CSV. We saw example of like getting genes comma separated like this. And yeah, and also we talked about how to apply, how to write multiple rules in a given syntax. We saw that, and also multiple action block within a given rule. So two type of concepts we saw. And then finally we saw that all this entire snippet, that can be saved in a file, and directly we can give -f to execute the script. And yeah, that's all what we saw in the last video. And in this video, as I said, we'll saw some numeric functions. And yeah, so let's first go with the numeric functions. So likewise, I have my data set over here. This is my file that I will be working. Okay, and this is my file. So basically it consists of chromosome and the start and which strand and the gene which they belongs. Okay, so let's hypothetically I want to calculate, this is a numeric column and I want to calculate let's say log square, like that. So simply we can do, let's say, first awk single quote, then this is the action block, and here I will write print log of, let's say, dollar second column. Okay, and give the file gene final.tsv. So this is the log of the second column. And similarly there is a function called sqrt. We can use this to calculate the square root of this function. Okay, square root of the second column. Similarly you can use other function like exponential function, sine, cos, like that. Okay, so these are the ways of common numeric function that we can use. Now coming to the string functions, so we have length, two lower, two upper, substring and split. These 5 concepts we will see. So length is important. This will give you number of characters in a string. So let's say take an example. We have, let's say I want to calculate number of the gene, gene length. Not actually, this is a string. Let's hypothetically calculate the length of this string. So you do like this, and so type print the length of, we'll say $5. Okay, and then the file will give gene final.h. So see, this is the length. So if you just also print $5 along with it, then you put a tab. Okay, and then you will see, and just let me type ahead. So you see that this is a gene and the string length is around 7. So length function will give us the length of any data. So if you want to calculate the line length, so we can simply say length of 0. Okay, so length of 0 will give number of characters in each line. So for example, see, the first line has 26 character including space and all, right? So like that we can use length of $0 to calculate the length of a number of characters in a given string. Okay, so now let's explore the two functions, two lower and two upper. So I will be using the same here $5, and instead of that I will make two lower. Okay, so you see that see, this is now lower case, correct? And similarly, we can also use upper characters. Let's say let me try $1 here and $1 here. So you see that chr1 was small letter, and now we have changed to upper. Okay, so next we'll see substring. Substring is like to extract some part of the string. So basically the syntax is like what string from where you want to extract, and the starting position and how many length you want to extract. So let's take an example. This one, $0 means the entire string, and I want to extract 2, 3. So basically awk. Okay, so let's print, okay, and the command substring, and let's say this is the string I want, $0 entire line, and let me start with first character, and let's extract 5 length. Okay, and give the file like this. Okay, so okay, so if I want from the there is a space, that's why you're not able to see it. Actually there is a space over here, right? Let's say if I put 2, means it will start from the second character, so it will be like this. Okay, what happened? Okay, so you see the C is removed because I am starting from the second character and length of 5. So that's where you will see the additional column over here. Okay, now if I just simply omit this one, right, the last characters, that means I'm now not specifying the length, so that means it will go to the last. Okay, so you see this is removed now. Okay, so now hypothetically if I want to remove only chr, right, so in my data set, so there is chr is there. So if you want to remove chr, so what we can do, simply we say that substring and 0, this is 1, 2, 3. I will say that start from 4th character, and I will not give the length. So basically what it will do, it will go till the last. So now you see, this way I have deleted the chr. Okay, so same way, if you know the character position, so you can extract any part using the substring, like suppose that way also we can use it. Okay, so now another example, this already I have completed. 1, 4 means 0, 4 I have showed you. So now we'll move to the next function called sub and G sub. This is important function, that means substitute and global substitute. Okay, so let's say this is my data, right? So I want to just substitute chr, delete chr. Okay, so how can I do? I can use simply this function called sub. Okay, and $0, this is my this thing string where I want to do it. Okay, first is like we have to give what you want to search and what is the replacement string and where. Okay, so the order is different here. So I want to delete chr, substitute this with nothing, and where $0, and this is, I have done it. So now I will say print $0, and then here you have to give the file. So and you see, this way I could delete the chr from the starting, right? Simple. So let's take an example. Okay, I'll now will go to let me explain you the this thing, G sub and this example. Okay, so what I'll do now, just to show you, wherever 1 is there, right, I want to substitute with star mark. So now you see this substitute will substitute only once. That means the first occurrence. Okay, so there is 1 over here as well, but it is not substituted with star. But in the moment if I type G sub, what it will do, it will search 1 anywhere and it will replace with star. Okay, so now you will see that, see, wherever 1 is there, it is now substituted. So that's the difference between sub and G sub. Sub will substitute the regex with the replacement for the first time, whereas G sub will globally it will substitute, that is wherever that regex is present, it will replace it. Okay, so this is a very handy commands, sub and G sub, to substitute any data. So now we'll move to the next command, that is split. This is also an important one. Okay, so the syntax is like split, and first argument you give is like where you want to which string you want to split. So let's say $1 in this example, and the separator you give is the third argument. Okay, so you want to split with what? Okay, and whatever the results we will store in a variable, that is an array. We will talk about array in the later slide, but just assume that I have done it. Okay, so here what I am doing, split, I am saying $1, take $1, that means the first column, and split with chr. Okay, so that means it will split with the chr character. So that means this will be removed, and then after cutting, the left side will go into the first index and the right side will go into the second index, because chr is present only once. Let's say if I split with tab, so that means the data will be split like that. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth column, like that it will happen, and that each of these will now become an array, and that will be stored in this variable called a, let's say in this example. And then you can simply use a square bracket 2 to fetch the second index of that array, like that. Very simple. Okay, so let's try this example. This is our data. So what I'll do, I'll split this with chr. Okay, so the syntax is you type awk. Okay, give the action block and split, and what we want to split, let's say $1, first column, and I want to split with what, chr, and but this is the third argument, and where I want to store, let's say a is a variable. I want to store the result into a, and then this is the first statement. Now the second statement, what we'll do, print dollar. Okay, print a. Okay, just print a, and let me give you the file here. So what is say, okay, we cannot directly use a print because a is an array, right? We have to use for loop to print. Okay, but if you want to fetch a particular index, so we can fetch it like a of 2. A of 1 will give blank, because after chr is removed, left side nothing was there. Okay, so but now I can so let me give head so that it will be easy. But a of 2 means second index will now store the chromosome here, right? So let me show you another example. So if let's say I want to split with plus, okay, wherever plus is there, I will split it. Okay, so $1, okay, and let me store the split is plus. So if I print a of 1, okay, so let's see what happens. I think okay, sorry, my bad, because I used $1, right? Okay, so $0 I want to split with plus, and you see gene final, right? So you see, so wherever plus is there, that is split. So for the first second record, plus was present, and when it got split, this part become a of 1. So that's what we are printing here, and this part become a of 2. But in the second case, these two line minus, there is no plus symbol, right? So that means there is did not split, did not happen. So that's why this entire record become A of 1. So that's why you see wherever plus strand is there, you see the split is happened, and where minus strand genes, though no splitting has happened. So this way the syntax of split is easy. So it splits the data and store the results in an array, and array we can access just like the other programming language we use. Okay, so now we'll move to the same concept called array. Array in awk is similar to hash in Perl or dictionary in Python. Basically it is called as associative array. That means it has key and value pair of kind of thing. Okay, so the syntax is like array the variable name, and you give the square bracket, and inside the key will be there, and the value is equal to value. And to print all the values, we basically use the for loop kind of thing for I in that variable, array variable, and then curly bracket close. So this way we can use for loop to iterate over the each element of the array and print it. So let's say hypothetical example. Okay, so this is our task. Let's say this is my file. I want to do a unique of this column. So basically what I have to do, I'll have to just type this one very simple, the a $1 equal to 1. Okay, what does it means? So for example, when the first line comes, $1 is equal to chr1. Okay, and then that value will go over here. So a of chr1 equal to 1. So that means first key is created, that is chr1, and I have assigned the value as 1. Now the second time when the second line goes, that is again chromosome 1, that key is again present, so there is no problem. But when the next chromosome 10 comes, that key was not present, so it will go again, and a of chr10 equal to 1 will happen. So that means the second key, that is chromosome 10, is created. So like that, after everything is finished, only the a will contains what, chr1, chr10, chr11, like that. So this way indirectly, by pushing the data in an hashed array, by using those these values as actually key of the array, we can remove the duplicates. So this is the trick we can use. And then once everything is done, in the end block, finally we are printing using the for loop for I in a, print I. So basically this will print the unique value. So let's try this. Okay, so let's do one by one. Awk. So this is my data. So so let's start awk and give the final file here. So now let's start. Now the loop will happen. So I'll create a variable a, and I'll give the key $1 equal to 1. That's all. This is my action. And okay, so this will nothing will happen here, but now at the end I will now give a end block. Okay, end block, and here for I in that array variable, and open and close bracket. So this bracket is the for loops curly bracket. Okay, and then you simply say print I and give semicolon. Okay, so you see now, you see finally you will have a unique of all this thing. Okay, so that's where the duplicate is now removed. So let's say if I want $5, so plus how many unique strand is there? So I just have to say $4. Okay, so you see $4, when I type, I have only 2 unique values. So this way, using this simple creating an associative array or hash kind of thing, we have we can remove the duplicates. Now let's say another example we'll try. We'll count how many chromosome 1 is there, chromosome count. So it's a frequency table kind of thing. So the logic is little different here. So here instead of assigning, what I'm doing, I'm incrementing the value. Okay, so a of $1 plus 1. So for example, when the first time first line, the $1 become chromosome 1, and then when it comes here, the right hand side will be assigned to left hand side, right? So first right hand side will be evaluated. A of $1 is equal to what now? Chromosome 1. chr1 key was not present, so first time a of chr1, since it is not present, the default value will be 0, and 0 plus 1 becomes 1, and a of chromosome 1 will become 1. So in the first iteration, there is a key is created called chr1, and its value equal to 1. But the second line, when it comes, again the $1 becomes chr1, it will go back here, and a of $1 is what, already 1 one line is finished, so we have the value is equal to 1. So now 1 plus 1 will become 2, and now that value will be replaced. So after the second iteration, the chromosome 1 is the key, and the value will be 2. And similarly for third line, it will be 3. But when CHR10 comes, CHR10 first time array is seeing, so that's why the value will be 0, and 0 plus 1 again will be 1. So the chromosome 10 will be key, and value will be 1. So like that, after complete iteration, we will be getting the key like this. Okay, so now we'll be doing that. So let's do one thing. So here what we will do, a of 1 equal to, instead of 1 I'll say a of $1 plus 1. So here again for loop I in a, print I, so this will give me this thing, but now I want count as well. So what I'll do, I'll give double quote, then press a tab, then I say a of I, means okay, a of I. So that means I'm printing key here, and a of I means I'm getting the value. So you see now chromosome 12 3 times, 22 2 times, like that. Okay, so if you want to now do for strand, right, so you have to just say $4. Okay, so how many plus strand, how many minus strand is there? So you say there are 24 genes which belongs to plus strand, whereas 22 genes which belongs to minus strand. So this way, this is a very handy way of using awk to group a column and simply calculate the frequency. Okay, another example that you can try, can pause the video and try yourself. Basically what I want is, like, for every gene of a chromosome I want space separated. So the logic here, what I'll use, so I'm using here the variable name called gene, and here the key is equal to the chromosome, but the value is equal to the gene. So basically what I'm doing, instead of this thing, I'm appending it. So gene of $1 equal to gene of $1, and this is a append, space is there, and I'm attaching $5. So let's say first iteration $1 become CHR1, and again the right side will be validated, followed by this thing. But you see here the first time it will be blank, and then space the $5. So that's where the DD, this gene will be there. Okay, so that will be the value, that means space followed by the DDX, this gene. Okay, so now the second iteration, again CHR1 will go, and the value is already there, and I'm attaching now the second gene, like that. So after this finished, I will just use the for loop, then you will see all the genes are appended. So this is a very other example. So let's try that. So here what I will do, a of $1 equal to, so the key equal a of $1. So here now instead of plus I'll give an appending, and I am attaching $5, the gene. Okay, and here just I think this will do. Okay, basically print I and followed by a of I. So you see chromosome 12 and the genes are listed as well. Okay, so this is the beauty of array using awk, and yeah, so that's all. And next we'll move to the last concept, if else, how to use. So awk also supports if else conditions, so you can use this kind of block, like let's say awk, and this is the single quote to single quote, and here I am giving the conditions here. So the test $1 equal to chromosome 20 means for chromosome 20 I am doing this condition. So basically what I am doing, if $2 less than this position, then print this statement, else space if this condition, then this statement, and finally else block, do this statement. So the output I'll just copy paste because it's a very big thing. So I'll just copy and if I just type, so basically what I'm doing is, like, first I'm applying a filter here, right? So this is the test. So that's why chromosome 20 lines will be applied, and this line particularly, the start position, the column number 2 is less than this number, so that's why it is telling that start position is the first condition. But the second is passed because it's less than 15 1,50,000, so that's why it is entering the second block, and last one it goes to the else block, and finally it prints. Okay, so this is the way we can use like if else, like that, multiple conditions we can give, and these all can be given in a single line. If you want, you can give semicolon to separate it out as well. Okay, otherwise you can put this entire part in a string in an awk script and then directly called awk minus f, the script that will also you can execute. Okay, and last I want to just I have missed in the slide, but executing the system command, you can use system command like this. Execute system command, also, although the example I do not have a very good example here, but just to show you. Okay, system command you can use. Let's say I want to, for every line I want to just type ls. Okay, so what will happen, see now everything, for every line it is now calculating the ls command. So this way you can execute the system command. The use case could be, let's say, let's take like this example, and then pass this this information bed file, suppose, pass this information to a script. Let's say, suppose there is you have written some script which can take each line like in the bed format, like chromosome start end, then do this thing. So basically what you can do, you can use this information to pass through the system command and execute one by one. So that way is very easily you can do as well. Okay, so that's the examples. I think that's all I had in this my video, and yeah, and yes, so if you like it, then support. Yeah, thank you. I hope this video was useful, and yeah, I'm planning to post some other videos at the later stage, like said grep and all. Then we will do we'll take very powerful use cases, and we can do all these kind of things. Yeah, so stay tuned, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, so then do subscribe, and yes, please share among your network. Thank you very much. Bye.